I'm Paul Elliott here with Hashrocket TV, and I'm here with Gregg Pollack from MV Labs. Now, you've been doing a lot of work. Of course, you're a experience consultancy. You've been doing some training stuff with Rails for Zombies, and now you have a code school as well, and you're getting more into longer term education.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we put out Rails for Zombies in November of last year, which was just sort of our sort of community initiative to put out more, introductory material. Because with Rails 3, all of a sudden, books got old and things went out of date, and we needed something for Rails 3. So we put that out in November, and since then, to date, I think we've had over 40,000 people sign up, and over 9,000 people have completed the entire course.
Oh, wow.
So we've gotten a tremendous response, and it feels really good to be bringing lots of people to Rails. But when we saw that, and we saw what people were digging on it, we then were like, how do we monetize this thing? We're not making any money. How can we monetize? So that's where Code School sort of evolved out of. So Code School is sort of an online marketplace where you can buy courses like Rails for Zombies. So Rails for Zombies became sort of like the freemium, the one that you can get for free. And a couple months ago, about 2 months ago now, we released Rails Best Practices, which right now is a $45 course where you have 5 videos. In between each of the 5 screencasts, you get in-browser challenges, code challenges. So you actually have to use what you just learned in the videos, refactor code, move it around, try presenters, try adding more scopes to models, and you've got to do all this stuff, so it forces you to learn. We added some gamification principles too. So each question you answer is worth 250 points, unless you ask for hints. If you need hints to solve it, well then the hints are going to take away points. You're not going to get as many points total. You also get badges for finishing each level. You also get prizes for finishing the entire course. And right now, if you do Rails Best Practices and you finish it, not only do you get $5 off your next course at Code School, but you also get 35% off the books from Addison Wesley, the Ruby Professional Edition, which the Ruby Ways, Rails Way is part of that. And then you also get a free Peep Code screencast when you finish the course.
Nice.
So we're making better Rails developers by putting out this code content, this course content. And next week, in the next week or two, we're going to be putting out jQuery Air, which is our jQuery course taught by Jeff Casimir, where you also get to code in your browser. So we do all of the server-side validation. So just like in Zombies and Rails Best Practices, we take the Rails code you'd write in and we actually execute it, run it against tests to see if it's right. So we did the same sort of thing now with JavaScript. So we have this whole big JavaScript engine on the back end. I think it's running Node.js, which evaluates your JavaScript to see if it's right. And if not, it gives you error messages.
That sounds like a really innovative and effective means for offering that kind of training. I haven't seen anybody do anything that sophisticated before. That sounds really, really amazing.
Yeah, thanks. But it falls into, what was cool about it is not only can you do it online, but we came here to RailsConf and we did trainings using both content. In the morning we did Rails for Zombies, in the afternoon we did Rails Best Practices. And the killer thing about running them at conferences is that one of the big reasons why typical tech conference tutorials suck, like these 3-hour tutorials, is, first reason they suck is that maybe somebody shows up and they talk at you for 3 hours. Hopefully that's not the case, but it happens.
Yeah.
The other reason they can kind of suck, if there's a lab involved, and that's the best way to learn, of course, is if somebody teaches you something and then you actually are forced to do it.
Right.
However, what sucks about most tech conferences when they do that is that you've got to install some complex tool, whether it's a server, Redis, Rails, Ruby, Python, whatever. You've got to have that pre-installed. And no matter how many times you tell people how to do it before they get to the conference, so they're ready when they show up, there's always going to be people that don't. There's always going to be people that are running a weird version of Windows or Linux and they weren't able to figure it out. So you spend probably 90% of your time with the 5% of people that can't get it figured out.
Yeah.
That really sucks, which is why this platform is killer for training, because we show up and everybody goes online and they code right there in the browser. So they get that same instant feedback and learning by doing, as we call it, and they get to try everything that we teach them. Of course, when we do it here locally, we don't use the videos. We actually just teach it. And then we have people wandering around like lab instructors helping people out when they have trouble. We're going to be doing the same thing next month at OzCon in Portland, where we're going to be doing Rails for Zombies in the morning and Rails Best Practices in the afternoon to train more people, new people on Rails, and then experienced Rails developers, showing them the best practices. I apologize, that was a very long-winded. You asked small questions.
That's great information. So you've got Rails and jQuery in your code school now. Are you planning to expand that out, do some other languages?
Yeah, well, coming up, after jQuery, we've already done the filming. We just need to do the challenges for our HTML5 CSS3 course.
Oh, cool.
We have, it's called Functional HTML5 CSS3 with our lead designer, Jason Van Loo. And it's pretty cool. He sort of took the most useful bits of HTML5 and CSS3 and teaches them stuff that you can be using today in your web apps that work across all browsers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, should be fun.
Well,
other stuff. Obviously, it's debatable. The one thing that we can definitely count on is I really want to do an intro to Ruby and an intro to Python course, and put those up on Code School. So that might be where I work towards next. I definitely think there'll be a sequel to Zombies at some point. We have to do a sequel to Zombies.
Sure.
And that'll probably be a paid course, but I'm sure a lot of people will dig it.
And now, have you thought about doing any more like focus courses, like maybe one specifically on gem development, or very specific targeted topics like that?
Okay, so you're leading me towards the other thing I wanted to talk about. Here at the conference on Tuesday night, we did the Ruby Hero Awards, gave away 6 awards to 6 well-deserving people. And then after the Hero Awards, I announced what I've been working on in the past 2 weeks, is basically taking all the information that I know about good quality screencasting and creating efficient, screencasting, text screencasting. I've been spending the past 2 weeks documenting everything that I know and creating sort of what I'm calling the Code School screencasting framework. And I created a document, and then I created an hour-long video, which we put out for free, that basically shows people how to create screencasts. Because I talk to people, lots of tech people, and they all say, yeah, I want to create more screencasts for the stuff we do, whether it's for their open source project or just to educate people on how to test Rails.
Yeah.
And they come back and they tell me, it's like, I've been meaning to do that, but I don't know what tools to use. People are going to do better than me. I'm kind of afraid of putting out that stuff.
I know.
So.
I've tried to do it before, and it's hard. If you really don't know what tools to use, don't know how to do it. I kind of stumbled through it, and have done it a couple times. But
yeah. So I put out the screencast for 2 reasons, and I'll work back towards your question. The first is just to get more people in our community screencasting and educating more people, because I'm all about that. That's how we keep our community strong, is we keep on producing more educational content, bring more people in the community. And the second reason I created it is because I kind of want to create a team of screencasters that is on Code School, maybe doing a subscription service where we're creating very consistent, very educational in-browser screencasts and sort of create a membership. And from there, I think that will allow us to branch out to more complex topics. These courses take so much time. I want to put out more material, but these courses take so much time. So I think maybe the solution is build a screencasting team of hopefully the best screencasters in the world and get them producing consistent content on a weekly basis, and have sort of a publisher model where we all sort of learn from each other and create better content. And I would love the idea of paying people to create these screencasts, finding the really good developers who also enjoy teaching, and pay them to produce more content together with a community that loves it, that wants it.
That sounds great. It's good work, and thanks for doing the Ruby Hero Awards.
Oh, yeah,
everyone really enjoys that.
Yeah, it's really rewarding to sort of find those people in the community that haven't gotten the recognition they deserve, and give them awards. I think it's really interesting to see. Somebody came up to me after the awards and they were talking about how empowering it is. Somebody who had already previously won an award, they were like, getting that award, I think, provided me a lot of validation. It's like I try really hard, work a lot of my spare time, and that really gave me the push and validation and appreciation that I needed at the time to keep on doing more stuff for the community.
Yeah.
And because of that, I've gone on to do X, Y, and Z, and it's like, wow, that's awesome to hear. And I think that's one reason why we do it. So I guess it's working.
Cool. Well, thanks for talking with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.